Hello, everyone. I'm Dren Hatamata. Alright, let me just make sure everything's actually working. Fortunately, I had a blast from the past. Not that long in the past, but past enough. I thought I was past it. Unfortunately, McWeevil has shown his face around Facebook, and it wasn't on something like a local page. No. This was on some random ass page that I'd been following, or like some group I've been following for D&D stuff. And whoa, no, it's like, the new BBEG, and that picture shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck? How dare you? This is not. Son of a bitch. I hate it so much. His name is McWeevil. You can be friends with him on Facebook if you want. I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. All I know is it's pain in the goddamn ass. Oh. What the fuck? That's weird. Normally, my stream is if I'm streaming, it's normally put up at the top. Whatever. I guess I'll have to do it manually. I gotta check to make sure it's working. It's working. See if anyone actually shows up. Let me go ahead and check the chat. Might as well. Oh, well, that's way behind. That's not live. Alright, everything seems to be working. I got a glass of water. I'll probably switch up to tea later. Okay. All right. So, what it looks like, so what we've got right now is we just finished at creation. Let's see how many we've done thus far. All right, so 386 items we've read through out of 8,825, and some of those are going to get filtered out because some of them are duplicates. So 8,460 something, 50 something we got left. So, and like I said, the last one was creation, so we'll be starting on creative writing. Where is my. Why don't I have a pen? How is this the one time I don't have a fucking pen? They must all fell on the floor somewhere. When I put my pants on. Normally I got one somewhere up here. Oh, that's a first. Oh, we got pens out the wazoo. Alright. Oh. Let's see if anyone shows up. Let's see. Alright, so I won't actually need this on my phone because it's staying good with having this up on my computer. Normally I have to look at it on my phone because my computer can't handle like that and Minecraft at the same time. So now I can look at other stuff. I've told people about McWeevil. And I explained to him, you can be friends with him on Facebook. That's worse! Ah, yes. Yes. It is much, much worse. It's absolutely wonderful. Alright, so I got all the sharing done. I guess I'll go ahead and start. No sense in wasting any time, right? It's already 15 minutes in. Creative writing. Watch him as he marks his pen. Watch him as he kills the hen. Watch him as he smiles deadly. Watch him as the wrath goes on. Watch him as mother sleeps. Watch him move her mouth. Watch him take his scissors. Watch him touch her scalp. Watch him say her thoughts. Watch him come behind you. Watch him say goodnight. What is the need for this? Just watch me steal your emotions. I don't have any. He touched the scissors closer to her scalp. Do you feel anything as I touch? No. Exactly why I love you. I guess that's Jeff the Killer one? Not sure. Not sure. Huh. I mean, scissors doesn't imply something else. I don't know. I don't know. It's vaguely it's like translucent. It's translucent to the idea that it could be a Jeff the Killer one, but not quite sure. It's still cloudy. Oh, guess we're not getting this one. This one's a video link. The Creature of Brant Rock. This was originally made by Vicious516 on YouTube. You can check out his channel here, Vicious516 YouTube channel. File Vicious516 CreepyPasta, The Creature of Brant Rock. Okay. I guess at some point I need to go back and scroll through all these and check out these videos and stuff, so I can have context. Yeah, well, I have to go on. This is for reading, not for, well, you guys are watching, I'm reading. Alright. The Creature of the Factory. There was apparently a new myth going around of a weird killing of many of the people in the UK. It happens upon paranormal activity happening in the house, from clattering, bumping, and doors slamming. The victims are said to be hypnotized to heading into an odd factory in the middle of a forest. The cause of hypnotization are unknown at this moment, but are suspected to be an entity or a ghost. But this is unknown as well. Reporter Danny McBaron ventured to this supposed factory to find and tell us that it was true. When he traveled through many shards of the He traveled through many shards of forest to this factory, and we went to and when yeah, and had went inside to report nothing out of the ordinary. But as he got closer, through doorways and tunnels, started to find traces of blood, dead, mangled bodies, and eyeballs that had been gouged out from their sockets. Then we got no more reporting from him, and found out later that he had been sent to the hospital with fatal injuries. When questioning him upon the event, he's said to have seen an odd fox-like creature with large red eyes, a large sharp-toothed grin, and its fur was covered with blood. This thing is said to be nothing like a fox, because it stared with a sharp smile, then attacked him. The creature said something, he added. When he questioned him further, he trembled, swallowed blood, and whispered, "The claws will slice. Die." He then trembled again and died suddenly. He will be missed. Stay away from the factory. Avoid your death, or you will share the same fate, the waiting claws of the creature. This... Okay, so this one actually feels kind of smile doggish. I don't think that's related though. Yeah, I don't think this is the same thing. I can kind of see what's going on, I guess. Excuse me. Just kind of it. I don't know what to think of this one, really. Like, it... Yeah, I really don't know. I don't have any answers for you. It's okay. There's some problems with it, but it's mostly like the way it was, the word structure was kind of weird. I didn't really understand everything. Sorry, charger fell out. I finagle it back in behind the thing. All right. Hopefully, I won't get pulled out again. Creature of the Night. Redirected from The Creature of the Night. Okay. Because they didn't want the "the." The following pasta is the first thing I've written in a long time. I don't expect it to be scary because it's just something I was experimenting with. Hope you enjoy. Creature of the Night. Here I sit in front of this damned computer once more. The day is done and the night is young. All is still, yet the silence is deafening. I drown it out with my favorite tracks of industrial electronica, but it cannot soothe the deep chill that crawls up my spine. Night's claws are slowly dragging themselves against my tender flesh, savoring the moment before it strikes me dead. Something else lurks within the charcoal dark. A beast unseen by mortal eyes, nameless, faceless, voiceless. It watches us work throughout the night, curious as to why we kill ourselves during the time of slumber. Why do we slave away under the moon's magistrates? because we fear what we may see in the eerie blackness of if we dare stare into it for too long. We wish not condemn ourselves to a fate worse than any death, the pathetic submission of our demented, sometimes irrational fears. So, we stay awake in the night, paling further with every additional moon. The creature breathes heavily against our numb necks, staring at our bizarre hands typing away in a nearly invisible keyboard. It observes and points, asks unanswered questions about what we search, watch, read, and write. Can we ever see the beast and finally reply? Nay, we cannot. The beast is skittish, and swipes its jagged claws at whatever may frighten it. Any and all would die no sooner than they spoke even a syllable to the creature. So our minds, in their subconscious omniscience, force us to reject the poor being and keep themselves alive. That poor creature of the night. I wish you could communicate with me directly, but I hope these words will suffice. Thou art not alone. Thou hast company in these cruel times of the night. There are creatures much like yourself all across the globe. They lie within all of us that remain throughout the late nights, wishing to speak to their mutual strangers. You are my own personal fear. There are countless like you, but you are mine and mine alone. So allow me to embrace you and fall into the inky depths that I am afraid of so much. That's actually a really neat one. This is the guy's first pasta? For something purely experimental like that, it's really good, actually. I would definitely recommend this one to people. Like, I think this one really does take care. So what is the creature of the night, is the question. I really don't know. I like the way it was written. As there's a few errors in the way some of it was written as far as sentence structure, but very negligible. Like, most people probably won't notice it. At least it was a little weird to read. Yeah, I'm not sure, but this is a pretty good pasta. The creature out my door. I woke up to a sound upon my sleep, a very eerie, hollow weep. I looked outside, greeted to a second peep, as a creature with fleshy wings looked into my soul so deep. I turned away and head for my gun. The eerie shadows make it not so fun. I walk outside, out of my door, to face the creature out my door. The blistering cold of the frosty night sends blood pouring at a simple lip bite. I hear a faint crawling and shoot at the sky, and I reload some more to kill the creature out my door. I walk as a spooky wind sends chills up my spine. I hear the creature whisper, "Your soul's mine." And I tug, and I gasp, and I lose my grasp, as I am teared from life forevermore. Curses, curses to the creature out my door. So, I'm gonna get this. This does not seem like a Poe poem. I don't think they had guns like that. And I'm gonna take a wild guess and say this is definitely Poe inspired. Pretty much, if you see Forevermore or Nevermore. Probably Poe inspired at this point. I know when I went to Mr. CreepyPasta's panels, there was a lot of Edgar Allan Poe fans. Myself, I don't really care that much. Go figure. Ooh. There's a dude sitting there. Okay. The creatures. Have you heard about the creatures? They're everywhere. But only for one day a year. They parade themselves around wearing other people's faces. They go up and down the streets, taking anything given to them. This goes on for about 7 to 10 p.m. They are always short little creatures. Once they hit a certain age, though, they blend into society and stop being creatures. You want to know what they are? They're children. They're trick-or-treaters. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. That's cute. Sure. Whatever. That's silly. I'm gonna get some more water real quick. Hot mic. Don't yell at me, Socks. Alright. The Creeping Man. There is a hooded figure hanging outside my window. His eyes are glowing, and there is a cross around his neck. He has a smile full of malice and pain, like someone who is enraged and hurt, but can only smile. His facial expression shows bittersweet emotions. 3 children and a woman are hanging next to him. I am hopeless, for these are his victims. He's calling out to me, and I slowly stand and walk to the window. His skin is peeling like a snake's. His teeth are few and yellow. He tells me he is friendly. How can something that killed 3 children be friendly? Soon I shall be hanging next to him, wearing the same apparel as him. I'll be donned in black and wearing a cross made of gold. I'll be dangling from a tree, having my skinless fingers smacking some other unfortunate soul about to be consumed. He reaches in and grabs me, and as he does so, I see the devil in his eyes. I know he is the creeping man. The one fathers tell sons about so they'll behave. This is no story. This is real. I am pulled into the night to await my grim future of dangling socks. Oh. Oh.
You right, honey?
Yeah, I think I was startled more than hurt. Oh. Scared the shit out of me, Socks.
Again.
Okay, the CreepyPastas. I love you. But oh. This is real. I am pulled into the night to await my grim future of dangling with the creeping man. Skinned and heartless, muscles shown. Well, aside from a cat scaring the shit out of me, it's an interesting one. Not much to it. I wish there was more. You alright there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh man. Do you think there's a McWeevil creepypasta?
There might be now.
We'll have to find it. Oh man. You know what would be really weird? If one of the creepypasta in this list ended up having a picture of McWeevil. The reason it would be weird is because all of these are from 2013 and 2012. Yeah. All right. Creepy CD saved my life. I had a really good friend named Annie. She had a she had a band she had a band she sung in, and she was one of the greatest and one of the most protective people I knew. Her band wasn't famous, and her dad had a recording studio in their basement, so she recorded their first CD with her band there. Her very first CD was a gift for me on my birthday, and I hadn't listened to it yet. 3 days after my birthday, Annie was R'd by her older brother, who was 17. He left the city, supposedly, and they didn't catch him. He always scared me, but I never said anything. She was only 13 when she died. The next day in the hospital, the next day in the hospital when I was sitting with her, she tried to speak and tell me something. But when she was R'd, he choked her and damaged her throat so much she wouldn't be able to talk for a while. Before I left the hospital, the nurse had come up to me in the parking lot and told me she died and gave me a note she wrote before she died. I was so depressed about it, I refused to touch her CD and note, which I left in my room. One night when I was home alone, I was thinking about her, so I decided to finally listen to the CD. There's a song on there called Painful Memory, a song she wrote about R when her friend of hers was R'd. Some of the chorus goes, "He tried to find you, he's upstairs." All of a sudden, the CD starts skipping, continuously repeats, "He's upstairs, he's upstairs, he's upstairs." I thought it was kind of weird because I never listened to the CD and it didn't have any scratches, so I just put it back in and played the song again. When it came to the chorus, it skipped and repeated it the same words again. I cleaned the CD and tried again. It still played the same words. I was so scared now, I locked my door and listened to the silence. I could hear boots walking down the hall. I looked into the keyhole and saw someone walking down the hall. I quickly called the police and they came. They found her 17-year-old brother hiding in the basement. He said he was waiting for me when they questioned him. The next day, I found the note in the CD case when I put it in. CD case when I put it. I opened it and read. When my brother R'd me, he told me he would R you next. I promised no matter what, I won't let that happen. Love, Annie. And I think she kept that promise. Oh, oh, that's heartbreaking. That's really heartbreaking. And a very touchy topic. I suppose this is a good of a time as any for a little disclaimer. There's some trigger warning concepts in some of these pastas, so feel free to jump away and come back whenever it's a different pasta because holy shit, some of these are dark. Like, yeah. And like I could see this being a thing that happens. I guess the only thing that would really get me as far as like criticizing this is the part where it's like, um, where it skips and then never listen to see. So I just put it back in, played the song again, uh, then cleaned the CD and played it again. It's just one of those things. It's like, wow, that took a long time to just kind of like catch on to something happening, and like if he's upstairs the whole time, or like how early was this before realizing something. Of course, we don't really have a perspective on the size of the house either. So also, don't R people. It's bad. It's terrible. They can no. The creepy doll. This is a very curious post from franklypetas.net. frankly.petas.net. Re-upload for your entertainment. Might be the best if you read this post in particular. The pasta. Hi, my name is Kyle. My 3-year-old son, Danny, brought this picture home from preschool, and it disturbed me and my wife. I noticed that the yellow thing looks like a sewn-up Tails doll, so I Google searched it. I avoided YouTube YTMND. Why? And found this place. I don't know what YTMMD. I was saying YouTube, but now me and my wife, whom I refuse to name, are both very scared. Can anyone tell me what the hell is going on with my son? Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day? No. No, it does not. Not right now. Yeah, okay, so this actually puts something interesting for the like trying to think of Tails doll creepypastas. Actually, people have been making Tails doll Tails doll dolls, and it's actually pretty funny. And I wonder if for those people, I really wonder if it's a hard sell because um I don't know. I feel like it'd be hard to sell, to some people. It's kind of a little bit of a refined taste kind of thing. But I've thought about getting one, but I'm not sure I'd be able to take it after reading a Tales Doll creepypasta at night and just be like, I know it's not a thing I have to worry about, but fuck. Alright. Okay. I don't know what else is really going on because I guess this is a dead dude. Supposed to be a club? Do anything if it goes into the negative? Not really, it doesn't show anything. Yeah, I don't know. Creepy Geneva Carter Road man. I live in Geneva, New York, my whole life. Throughout the years, I've seen and experienced some more or less unique things in this town. One of those things is the Carter Road man. I once lived on Carter Road and have experienced this a few times, but each time made a large impact on me. The first time was when I tried to scare my brother, then 5 or 6. I made up the story of the man who's waiting across the street, waiting to get you. I would say, but after making up the story, I learned it was more of a fact than some story a 7-year-old made. I would look out my window and see a man. This would happen any time I would think about the story, so I thought I was scaring myself. But then one night my friends came over to roast marshmallows over a fire. We all sat around a fire and told stories and made jokes. When my friend Mona said she could see a man in the yard across the road, we all look. In the disowned piece of property there stood a man. We all looked. My dad, who was there to watch us also, had looked. We all sat and looked at the figure. It just stood and stared back. We eventually did what any teenager, I was 14 at the time, would do. We started to yell at him, calling him creeper and stalker. My dad drunk just sat and laughed. Soon enough, the figure turned away and walked into the darkness. This would be my last experience with what I call now the Carter Road Man. But this would be my first experience with the creepy side of my small hometown. It's a pretty interesting one. It's actually like a campfire story in itself that you tell people that it's a thing that's happened. And then I like the idea of the creepy side of my small hometown, that there's more that he's experienced, and I want to hear more. I want to hear more of the things he's experienced. You know? Oh God, creepy Greg. I'm old Greg. I'm pretty sure that doesn't. Wasn't there a pasta earlier that was one of that? I'm old Greg. Do you like me? I like you. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, Diary of. Oh God. Okay. I think I might see where this is. Grid. Oh God. All right. All right. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Creepy Greg. One day I was looking around eBay, really wanting a good book to read. I'm a student in college who always gets bored between breaks. One day I came across a book entitled Diary of a Wimpy Kid, CG. I obviously had no idea what the CG meant, but a price with only 50 cents. Normally the books are around $10 to $20 if they're new, so I ended up buying it. Going on eBay was your first mistake. After a week of waiting, the book finally arrived at my doorstep. So I opened the package up and noticed a note saying, "Enjoy the book," written in a very strange fashion. As soon as I saw the book, I knew something was up. The book was black and had no picture. It just said Diary of a Wimpy Kid CG. When I opened it up, I found something odd. What I found bugged me, but I really didn't care at the moment. As long as the book was readable, I had no problem. I started reading pages 1 through 24. That's when something started bothering me, eventually escalating my fear. On page 24, under the peachy keen kid, who was now grown up, was holding a paper with CG written in black crown. Yeah, can't talk. That confused me, but I decided to keep reading. I did pay for it, after all. I kept reading until page 54. On page 54 was something very odd. Page 54 had a picture of Heffley's discussing a family problem. Susan, Greg's mom, Frank, Greg's dad, Roderick, Manny, and Greg were all present. But there was something I noticed that was peculiar. There was another Greg at the left of Susan, but this one was very faint, hard to see. As if someone took a small can of spray paint and sprayed on with precision. This Greg was able to be scruffed off with my hand. This Greg wasn't able to be scruffed off with my hand. It looked as if someone had put it in print. The Greg also appeared to be on page 84, on the right side of Manny. On page 99, above a black-haired girl on pages 123, 129, 189, and 200. The last page of the book had a Greg. The Gregs did scare me, no matter how hard I tried to tell myself it was just a printing mistake. But I ended up throwing the book away. Later, I went back on eBay to get a more expensive version, average version. Hours after I had placed my order, I finally understood what CG meant. It meant Creepy Greg. Okay, I can see that being creepy, but was there anything different in the story that would have made any hints? Yeah, I mean, like the actual book that OP is reading. That's what I'd be curious about. Like some weird spaces and like weird spaces where it seems like there should be a sentence inserted there. Like I have seen it where there's been a space, but normally it's to separate scenes. But when the scene isn't separated, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Creepy noises. It was midnight. I had awoken to a parched feeling. I rose out of my bed and walked to the end of the hall. I was about to head downstairs into the kitchen when I suddenly heard a thud, followed by a whispering noise coming from behind me. The whispering seemed to be coming from the guest room across from my bedroom. Suddenly it stopped, and I decided it was just my mind playing tricks on me, like it often does. I headed down the creaky wooden steps and opened the kitchen door. It was dark in there. Not that not that it usually wasn't dark at midnight, but it was weird darkness, surreal. I flicked the light switch on, but the lights just wouldn't turn on. So I walked into the darkness, frantically searching for the cupboard handle. My hand finally gripped onto the handle, and I pulled it open. I then grabbed a glass. At the moment, I heard another large thud coming from upstairs. It startled me, and I dropped my glass. I was scared by then. I rushed back to my room and hid beneath my covers. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get back to sleep. Perhaps it was my thirst, or maybe it was the thought of leaving the glass shattered on the floor like that. No, I knew it was my fear of that noise. Out of nowhere, I heard the whispering again. This time surrounding as if it was coming from right outside my bedroom door. I started to hyperventilate. I was never good at these sorts of situations. I guess the reason I never really got into watching horror movies. I guess that's the reason I never really got into watching horror movies. The whispering noise began to grow louder. I finally worked up the nerve and screamed, "Shut up!" The house grew silent along with my breathing. I gathered my thoughts and uncovered myself. I felt as if I were in a daze as I headed towards the door. I opened it very slowly and took a good look into the hall. It was empty and quiet. I took a step outside my door and took a better look around. That's when I heard the thud again. It was coming from the guest room. I inhaled and exhaled a gust of air as I swung the door open and as I swung the door to the guest room open. And then I was met with a great horror. There was a man hung from the ceiling fan, swaying and occasionally hitting the wall. I backed out of the room and ran downstairs. I tried to open my front door and suddenly heard the whispering noise again. This time it was clear. I tried to tell you not to enter the guest room. This creepypasta is by Dazerbolt. Okay, that's actually a really good one. Um, this definitely has a scary stories to tell in the dark feeling, I'd say. Um, I think this one is definitely really well made. Um, not really something you'd want to fall into, would it? All right. Yeah, definitely a high ranking one. See, it's these short stories that really get me. Like, I'm impressed by that one. The creepy stories. This isn't really scary, but the truth inside of it is. Me and my friend Lucy have chat room on Wednesdays. She seems like an angel. She doesn't really know anything dirty and has a child's voice. We talked about stuff happening in our lives really until she brought up something about what happened a long time ago. Remember when I saw those shadows? She said. Yeah, I said. I couldn't forget that. At her friend's house, we saw a pitch black shadow standing in broad daylight. Her friend was sitting behind us. I thought you wouldn't talk about that, Zoe exclaimed. But I saw them again. Lucy trailed off. I gulped. I thought I thought of that the thought of that was scary. They were just standing there. I went to get my mom, but then they were gone again, Lucy said. She said some other stories, then she said something that made me completely forget the shadow people. I thought I recognized them. They looked old, maybe even my grandparents. I said hi, but they just looked the same way they did before. I tried again, but they stayed the same. I tried one more time, and they yelled at me, like, scream, Lucy said. I gulped again. Then something hit me. She stayed quiet. All of my grandparents died before I met them. Yeah, okay. This is definitely something that, yeah, what are these shadows if they're not your grandparents? Or could they be your grandparents from beyond the grave and they don't like you for some reason? It's weird. Yeah, I could definitely see this being pretty fucking terrifying. Ew. Creepy video game glitch. Ooh, what is that? Uh, I don't know. Aragon Gandalf. Okay, so something Lord of the Rings. Okay. All right. Whatever, I'll take it. I guess. All right. Creepy video game glitch. Pasta written by Yul Sidman. El Sidman. Picture by Jaden Yuki 93. Jaden Yuki. Mm, mm. Don't worry about it. Okay. Creepy video game glitch. My friend let me borrow his copy of Lord of the Rings The Third Age for Game Boy Advance. It looked like an old game, and he had had it for a while. He said he had gotten it for his birthday a long time ago, when the game had first come out and it was popular. Lord of the Rings Third Age was an RPG that had a battle system kind of like Fire Emblem games. So basically a strategy RPG. You can be the good guys in the game, and the playable good guys are Aragorn, Gandalf, and Elrond. You can also play the darkness upon Bree level in the game. Okay, there we go. Sorry. All right. Okay, I see what's going. You can also be the bad guys in the game with the playable bad guys are Saruman the White, the Witch King, it's Lich King, and the Eye of Sauron. I chose to be Elrond, Elrond Hubbard, when I played the game, and the creepiest glitch happened when I played the darkness upon Bree level, where you fight the ring wraiths, or Nazgul. Suddenly the game froze up and neither me nor the enemy player could move our units, and was it was just frozen up. Push start, nothing. Press select, nothing. Press A, nothing. Press B, nothing. Move the control pad, nothing. Try moving L and R buttons, still nothing. The game was completely frozen up and couldn't move a thing, and the music stopped playing too. At this point, the only thing you could hear was the Nazguls, as they kept hissing like snakes. They were hissing and screaming for minutes. At this point, I had no choice but to turn the Game Boy off and restart. So I did. When I played the Darkness Upon Bree level again, the game froze up again, and the music stopped. Just like last time, the glitch happened. The only thing I could do was hear the only thing you could hear was the Nazguls hissing and screaming constantly non-stop. I had no choice but to turn it off and restart it. The same glitch happened again when I played the Darkness Upon Bree level, so I turned it off and took the cartridge out and looked at it. There was nothing wrong with the cartridge. The glitch happened again every time I played Darkness Upon Bree level. So I started a new game and played as one of the bad guys, the Witch King this time. When I was being the Witch King, the glitch didn't happen, and I completed the Darkness Upon Bree level without any problems. Okay, so I'll say this much, I can definitely see this happening. A weird glitch that happens consistently under specific circumstances, or it doesn't even necessarily be that specific. It just has to depend on where the coding's been. To me, it sounds like when you're the good guys and you're playing that level, it's corrupted. So if you play as when you play as the bad guys, it's almost like playing a completely different level. Like the level is not registered the same. Just all the assets are reused. So the way the tracking and events and the logic works, although effectively will do the same things, is set up on a different section. So whatever's happening with the good guys part of that level is corrupted. It's not going to the logical basis, and when it tries to run the or execute that part of the program, it freezes and screws up. And normally I've had that happen where all you hear is like maybe a buzz, or you hear the same looping or you hear whatever the thing last was playing. So like if it's relatively quiet, or it will just take out and do one sound that's there, or one sound clip or something like that. So yeah, that's something that can definitely happen. So if there's something screwed up with the game, despite maybe not being able to see it, that's definitely something that's likely to happen with old games. So I mean, I'd probably be creeped out too when it kept doing it at the same fucking time. Every goddamn time. The Creepy Woman. Today, I want to share the horrifying experiences I had when I was little. I was on my way to my friend's house, and she told me that there was a woman who was physically obsessed with me. My mom told me she had the exact same experience when she was my age, so I didn't think the creepy woman might mistake me as my mother. So while I was outside with two of my friends, the woman came up to me and wanted to have a bite of my ice cream. My friend shouted, "Marozia, don't speak to her!" But when I said nothing to her, she stole my ice cream and ran off. I thought it was rude. Shortly on that day, I couldn't sleep, so I decided to open my window and look at the stars to relax me. When I opened the windows, the creepy woman was there staring at me. She breathed on my windows and wrote Marzia with her finger. It was my name. I screamed and slept with my mom that night. I have another experience that I had a month after the creepy woman. My friends and I were having a summer party, and upstairs we heard a glass breaking. So we ran upstairs. Nothing was broken, but we were the only girls there, which was creeping us out when we heard a knock at the door. When we went to open the door, no one was there either. We didn't know what was going on, so we slept with all kinds of noises throughout the night. Sorry that was short. I have bad memory. By Marzia. I'm gonna take a wild stab and say that's probably not her actual name, and good for you. So I could see that. I could see that being real. Because there are weird, shitty people that will do that. Now, I would say statistically it's unlikely, but also statistically it's gotta happen to someone. Like, well, I'd say not gotta, it's going to happen to someone because those people exist. But it's gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry if this is real. I'm sorry you had to go through this. Damn. Damn, I'm sorry. All right. Ooh. Okay. CreepyPasta puzzle. A quick message. This short creepypasta is also a puzzle. You have to find the part of the story that is proof that the story is proof that blah, 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 blah. You have to find the part of the story that is proof that this is a story that is not true. Okay. Once you've found the answer or thought you have, you may put it in the talk. The story is of several emails sent from the police to a detective. I will call her Cast Sherlock Hondor. Kiss Sherlock Hondor. Okay. Okay, just go ahead and say this. That's actually interesting. A creepypasta puzzle. And one of these things just makes it not real. The story. March 15th, 1996. A serial killer has been reported to have caught 49 victims today so far, and the numbers are already rising. You still have to solve this mystery, Mrs. Cursed Hondor. Mr. Kissed Hondor. March 16th, 1996. A body has been found today. It was of an unidentified 54-year-old man. He has 3 knives stuck in his chest, one in his stomach, another in his heart, and the other stuck in randomly. March 17th, 1996. 2 more bodies have been found today, one of an 8-year-old boy and the other of a 5-year-old girl. The boy appears to have been playing Pokemon Blue version before being murdered. March 18th, 1996. This time, an amazing 264 people have been murdered by the serial killer, and 35 have committed suicide in fear. It's only a matter of time before I fall victim. In case you're wondering, this is supposed to be meant to be where the letter slander is being murdered by the serial killer. Oh, okay. You're next, Sherlock. June 4th, 2012. I'm right behind you. Okay, I am thinking that March 17th is the one that makes it not true. Because I don't think Blue came out in 96. Let's find out. When did Pokemon Blue version come out? No, it was 1996. Oh, no. No. No, that is it. Okay. Yes, okay. So it was released in 1998 in North America, 1999 in Europe. So yeah, that's what it would have to be. That's the part that's not true. Ha! Got it. Did you get that one?
What are you talking about?
It's a creepypasta puzzle.
Oh.
So it's a short story, but it's also a puzzle. It says you have to find the part of the story that is proof that this story isn't true. And so you're following a character named Kist Hondor. And it starts off with March 15th, and then March 16th, 17th, 18th, and then June 4th, 2012, and then all the March dates are in 1996. A serial killer has been reported to have caught 49 victims today so far, and the numbers are already rising. You will have to solve this mystery, Mr. Kist Hondor. March 16th, 1996. A body has been found today of an unidentified 54-year-old man. He has 3 knives stuck in his chest, one in his stomach, one in his heart, and the other stuck in randomly. March 17, 1996. 2 more bodies have been found today, one of an 8-year-old boy, the other of a 5-year-old girl. The boy appears to have been playing Pokemon Blue version before being murdered. March 18, 1996. This time, an amazing 264 people have been murdered by the serial killer, and 35 have committed suicide in fear. It's only a matter of time before I fall victim. And then there's a bunch of gibberish meant to signify that the sender is being murdered. And then ends with, "You're next, Sherlock." June 4th, 2012. I'm right behind you. So which one makes it not true?
Cookie cat.
What?
Cookie cat. Dude, I can't take anything seriously. I'm playing Pokemon.
Shh. Then you should know this one.
Go go.
So I took it. I had went with my gut and decided to look up on this one. So all these other posts take place in 1996. Pokemon Blue version didn't come out until 1998 and 1999. So that's the one that makes it not true. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. That's a fun one.
It is rather interesting.
It's cute, in a weird, sadistic kind of way.
Well, no, because Pokemon officially started in 1996.
Right, but Blue version, when Blue version came out, it was later.
Exactly.
That's.
Why? That's my question.
What do you mean? Why?
Well, they had yellow and they had red. But why did it take so long for the games to come out?
Because they didn't know how well they'd receive then.
Not necessarily. You see, at least, if I remember correctly, I was told a long time ago, that that red and maybe even yellow came out in 1996. However, if blue came out that late, why did they need a third game?
Well, it says here Red and Blue were in 1998 in North America.
Well, that's North America. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were then that okay, so that might actually still be true because even though it's not American, the games did kind of come out in Japan and shit in 1996. And whereas we had blue, they had green. Don't ask me how I know that.
All right, so it says release dates is red and green. So in Japan, red and green were released in 1996 in Japan.
Boom.
Blue.
Whiffman knows what she's talking about. Someone while playing Pokemon and running for these goddamn crabs. I love the crabs.
I would assume because this is in English. Because this is in English, I would assume this would be the American version.
Okay.
Mr. Kist Hundower? Hundauer?
Hondour?
Yes. Yes. Hondour.
You do know what it evolves into, right?
Hundun?
Yeah, Houndoom. Which
Yeah.
is?
Pokemon.
What?
What?
No, dude. I thought I told you better than that.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Okay. Houndoom.
Also, before this date. They didn't.
No.
Right?
Houndoom was, along with Houndour, was released in Gen 2, Silver and Gold. The reason that the name Houndour means so much is because the evolved form Houndoom comes out to mean a Pokemon that, if you heard the cries and howls of it in the dead of night, excuse me, it has meant that essentially a lot of people thought that Houndoom was death and even Satan. If you heard the cries of a Houndoom late at night, it meant that a Houndoom was coming to kill you, or that you would be met with a very ill fortune. It's like it's like an English legend, the red-eyed black dog or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for people who don't know that, if you see how did it go? It's been a long time, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But if you see the dog once, it gives you bad luck. If you see the dog twice, it gives you good luck. If you see the dog 3 times, you die. Period. And it could be based off that.
That could be another thing. Because that was what, Gen 2?
Houndoom and Houndour?
Yeah, what gen was it?
That was, like I just said, Silver and Gold, honey. That's Gen 2.
Okay. I don't know all the diddly dangle dingies.
And that's why I'm here.
Yeah. What do I pay you for?
Hey! You douche.
And when did that release?
Oh, jeez. As soon as Pokemon was seen to be a hit, like, they started making the second one. They didn't even wait. It was, the first one did amazing. Get on the second one now. It may have taken 2 years.
Okay, so yeah, between 2000 and 2001.
I was younger than that when it came out here.
That's in Japan. Well, it says United States, April 14th, 2001.
I would have been, yeah. I think I started playing that game when I was 4. That would have been 1999 for me. I'm dating myself.
So yeah, that's also something like where I guess that could be I guess Honda could be a term somewhere.
Yeah, the bad thing about Houndour is they're known to group up on you, and if they're able to group up on you, they can hurt you, and while they're not as strong as any Houndoom, they will try to kill you. They're known as a dark and fire type Pokemon for a reason.
Also, 246 people in one day.
That's not.
That's that's a lot of people to not be obviously caught.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I don't know which part it was that people would have gotten, because this was back on the Wikia. where they can comment about it. So like the poster did say, yeah, go ahead and talk about it down below. So I wonder what the final result was.
I don't know.
I'm going with the blue release date wasn't then.
Alright.
All right. That was a fun tangent. The creepy.
This is why you don't talk about Pokemon with your whiff button. Ever.
Oh, bull. Because it's fun to talk to you. Yeah.
And I caught your new buddy.
Huh?
I caught your new buddy.
Who's my buddy?
Come here.
Hold on.
Hold on, you're learning that.
Getting some water and ice.
Okay, so I kind of blew.
My buddy?
Squawkabilly.
Scrackabilly.
Squawkabilly, and he tries his fucking best.
Do you think he's actually named Billy? Do you think?
Dino.
I mean, do you think they could? But I mean, people could just like name him Billy.
If they wanted to, but his name is Squawkabilly.
And people walk by and go, "Sup, Billy? How you doing?" I don't know.
Really?
I'm guessing.
Really?
Maybe.
Dudes. No.
Why not?
I'm gonna go back to my fucking Pokemon training.
Fine. Jeez.
Good at it, baby. I've been a master since I was 4. Oh, jeez.
That's just looking at you like overachiever.
I am proud of that. Shut up.
The ripe old age of 4. Now get the fuck out of the house and catch some Pokemon.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
But I'm only 4.5. What am I supposed to do out in the world with deadly ass fucking Pokemon? That some of them, if I look at them, they can kill me.
Dude, there's Hypno, there's Gyarados, there's Charizard, there's Tyranitar. Yeah, those fuckers will fucking demolish you. Hell, Hypno has actually kidnapped kids. So, yeah. What was that? What was it?
I mean, kids somehow, capture gods.
Apparently I already have one.
Hi, I'm a god Pokemon. I'm now your domesticated pet. Apparently.
Hey, I just got done playing Fire Red and I caught Articuno. I mean, I caught them all, but I trained Articuno in my party. You leave me alone. You leave me alone.
Alright. The CreepyPasta reader. There used to be this kid down the street from me. He was just like you or me, but up on a Saturday night reading and maybe writing CreepyPasta. He would tell me which ones I should check out next, and tell me if I had any remote chance of being real or how good they were. Well, his father had got a new job on the west side town of the city, so they moved over there. We really never talked to him. I really never talked to him again or heard anything about him on Facebook or anything. So I assumed everything was fine with him. News report. I decided to turn on the news before heading to I decided to turn on the news before heading to B, and they were... to B. Pretty sure that's a typo. I don't know what that means. School? Bless you. Oh, bed. Bed. It's probably supposed to be bed. I decided to turn on the news before heading to bed. And they went through the normal routine, stating all the murders and homicides, and then I saw it. I saw him. It was just a quick flash, but I saw his face. But he looked awful. His face looked decayed, and I think I saw part of his skull. He didn't have a full head of hair like I remember. It was patchy, like someone left him for dead. I shook this off and thought to myself, I've been reading too much creepypasta. And then I saw his face again. This time looked demonic. I thought it was my eyes playing a trickery on me, and I needed to go to sleep. Sleep. As I went to sleep, I was transported into a nightmare like no other. I was in my room, on my laptop reading creepypasta. And then my screen went black and a picture of him popped up. The sound was evil, to say the least, and a loud, piercing screeching noise. I jumped out of my bed and almost broke both ankles doing so. I jumped on my laptop and I'm now writing the story as you read this. I can't sleep. Help me. It keeps happening. I've tried sleeping, but it's the same old story. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Please help me now. I can't live like this. It's not right. Help. Hmm. Uh, it's hard to get with this one. There's not really any investment built up that... It's like there's too much that needs to be explained. A little bit more about the dream, maybe a little bit more about his friend and what he looked like. And I don't know, it's okay, I guess. I don't like the... For one thing, I don't like the meta part as I'm typing this, or as you read this. You have to post it. Like, you can't actively see what they're typing as they're typing. Even if you can see that they're typing something. You have to post it. The please help me now, I can't live... The call for help is... kind of gets me because... Even if you don't feel like they'll believe the story that you're telling them, you can use something else. Like, I haven't been sleeping and I've been having this same reoccurring nightmare because I thought I saw a thing. And you can phrase it like that, and then you can get like some sleep study help or something like that, I think. So, I find this, maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. Hmm. Creepypasta short film. There's Bush Guy and Fanio Mania. I don't know which one's which, or what's what. Creepypasta short film. Creepypasta was a short film created by Ridgeway Films in 2011. It was written and directed by Elliot Ridgway and stars Phil Ridgway as Stanley, Anton Ridgway as the creepy old man and the postman, Elliot Ridgway as the ghost Pokemon, and Maureen Thomas as the pedestrian. The story is based loosely on the Pokemon Black creepypasta story and the Ben Majora's Mask creepypasta story. The story revolves around Stanley, an unsuspecting video game aficionado who meets a creepy old man at a yard sale. The old man sells Stanley an old black Game Boy cartridge, simply labeled Pokemon, and tells him he can have it for free. As Stanley walks away with the cartridge, the old man shouts, "Goodbye, Ben." Back at home, Stanley plays the game and proceeds to get more and more creeped out by the differences between Pokemon Red, Blue, and this game, i.e. ghost Pokemon from Lavender Town can be caught, as his special move called Curse that kills other Pokemon and their trainers, etc. His fear of the game increases when the ghost Pokemon began to send Stanley personal messages. Weirded out by the game, Stanley resolves to get rid of it. A reminder of the remainder of the film chronicles his attempts to rid himself of the haunted cartridge. It can be viewed here, and there is a link. Like I said, we might have to just go through all these ones that have videos at some point and just check them out individually. That would be I think that'd be interesting, because there's definitely a lot. And honestly, this doesn't look it to make a video in 2011. I would say this probably isn't that bad considering the time frame. 13 minutes, 21 seconds. Yeah, short video. Hopefully it's still up there by the time we go back to it. All right. Whew. The creepy people. The users of this CreepyPasta wiki, whom I call the creepy people, are not an average group. You may speak to them in several ways, but it is not highly recommended. When you talk to them via CreepyPasta wiki chat or private messages, they may seem genuinely normal, in their own twisted way, of course. However, some of them are different. Some of those creepy people believe what they write, which is not usually a good thing. A small percent write faithfully, and that percent falls into a new category. The ones that understand and accept what they read. Don't get me wrong, everything on CreepyPasta Wikia is real. Just please choose not to believe. Those people that do begin to believe fall into the trance of darkness, their own personal hell. Every night they check under their bed and make sure all the windows are closed tight. And when they see a bald man in a business suit, they nearly jump out of their shoes. Their exterior may be like that of a normal citizen in the way they present themselves. We do not usually know that behind the scenes, they slowly grow worse as time pursues them in their crawl towards evil. They jump out of their peace and sanity of their home into a new dimension. Possibly the worst mistake a non-creepy person could do is talk about it with them. Never under any circumstances tell someone that you've noticed a change in attitude. They may show anger or aggression at you and threaten violence or even death. Others may write the chat in cryptic messages and have some sinister purpose. Some have even been known as the ones who tried to snap the rope. Never get yourselves to the situation if you can help it. Try not to believe what you know is the truth. It has taken me long enough just to type while trying this slip knot. While tying this slip knot. In hope and honor, Blue. That's kind of neat. It's like beware the people who read and make these stories. Well, they're a different breed of. We are a different breed of people. All right. Creepy captcha. Is that a mistype on mine? It might be. I don't know. I would assume so. If this is more serious side, then yeah. Probably wrote it down wrong. And Creepypasta Puzzle 2. Alright. Creepy capture. I would like to share a creepy thing that happened to me a few weeks ago. I love the internet and anything to do with it, so I am avidly making a lot of accounts on the internet on sites I like. Well, you guys know what CAPTCHA is, right? Well, for those who don't, CAPTCHA is a little thing that appears when making accounts on certain websites. It consists of a text box to type in and usually a wavy, distorted image of words. It asks you to type the distorted word into the text box. Apparently, computer programs cannot decipher it, so hackers or something can't get in. Well, as I was making an account on a website, and it had a CAPTCHA. Ooh. Excuse me. It said, "Okay, let me look closely." Sometimes I have trouble reading them. And it says, "See me pain you." I was kind of a nerd because looking at it closely, I understood the words "see me pain you." But I didn't think long about it because they were randomly generated, right? Well, I was wrong. The next day, a friend told me told me about a site to get an account on because it was awesome. So I was close to being registered into the site when I noticed it. A captcha that said, "Windows see me." Windows see me. I was freaked out because of the shocking resemblance of the last captcha, "See me pain you." I was supposed to look out my window? Nothing would happen, right? It's randomly generated, right? No. I looked out the window and saw a figure. It was night, so I could only make out a silhouette, but then a lightning flash. Speed. The thing ran to the window and started banging. Bang, bang, bang! I ran to the other room immediately and just whimpered in fear of what looked like a decayed goat creature with cow heads sticking out of its sides. I was scared, and then the bang stopped. Moments of terrifying silence passed by. I finally built up the courage to check the window again. I entered the room and looked out the window, and it was gone. I couldn't sleep. It hasn't happened ever since, and the fear has subsided. Thanks for listening. Yeah. It's definitely something that can be weird. Captchas are different now, but back when it was like that, because now they have imagery programs that can decipher with like a 95% accuracy. So it was like, oh shit, now we gotta get more things. And it's not nearly. And I remember sometimes the problem would be you couldn't figure out the damn CAPTCHA. And I think I always got like random assortment of letters and numbers, both uppercase and lowercase, which really sucks sometimes because you couldn't tell all the time which one was which. All right, CreepyPasta Puzzle 2. Okay, let's see if you can figure out what's historically wrong with this creepypasta story. November 15th, 2009. A little boy whose name is unknown looks at the details of his parents' phones. Both had these apps: Safari, Angry Birds, App Store, and an unnamed one. The little boy played the unnamed app on both of them. He was not seen at all the next day, and he clearly wasn't hiding. November 17th, 2009. The boy reappears dead. A female member of the police investigated the unnamed app and also disappeared the next day, reappearing dead the day after that. January 1st, 2010. The unnamed app disappears from both phones and reappears twice on someone else's phones. This person knew about the strange story, so he deleted both apps. He still took the same path as the previous victims. March 19th, 2010. 784,874 people took the same route as the previous described victims, and in all the wills, it is said the cause of death is this unnamed app. Though none of them encountered it, they simply said they knew it was the app. Okay, so what is historically wrong? So everything is in November, mid November 2009, and then aside from the outrageous number, uh, historically wrong. So Safari, Angry Birds App Store. Was Angry Birds around in 2009? That would be the first thing I'd be wondering. I think it was. I think it's been around for a while because I'm pretty sure it's been a game. When did Angry Birds first release? Oh. So it was Finnish, and apparently the release date was December 10th, 2009. Um, Now, if Safari's on there, it's likely an iPhone, and they have Apple Store. It is effectively an app store, but the unnamed app disappears from both phones and reappears twice on someone else's phones. Hold on. When did Angry Birds release on iPhone? Still be the same, right? Okay. All right. So unless it's that part, that would make it untrue. That's the only thing that can be relevant, unless you're talking about the number 784,874, which is just a quick did it. Um, causes of the death was the unnamed app through none of them, though none of them encountered it. And how exactly? Um, I'm gonna go with Angry Birds was not on their phones yet. Um, oh, can we get something more specific? It's 2009 for iOS, board, Windows smartphones, Windows phones, iOS and Android App Store, platforms. So between 2009 and 2010 was its release dates throughout the area, throughout the world, and so yeah, that's the best I can think. Is it'd have to be that? All right, yeah, I guess. I think that's what it is. It's the game. It's related to the games. All right, the Crimson Bracelet. Long ago, in a city hidden from monsters, a creature known as a native discovered a nati- a nat. There's no e. Is there supposed to be? No, there's not. It's spelled like that multiple times. Native, 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 known as a native, I guess, because there's no e to accent. Okay. Known as a native, discovered how to use and control dark magic, a type of sorcery long banned from the peaceful world. He used this dark magic to create a bracelet much like the others in the village, but his bracelet shone with a crimson hue, and its power was beyond comprehension. The native looked upon his hellish creation with joy, knowing that with this power had only just begun to grow. But to his dismay, the village elder Atia discovered his dark creation. Atia ordered the native to be banished and the bracelet destroyed. But even though the native was banished, Atia could not find a way to destroy the crimson bracelet, so instead he hid it away in a faraway place. That's the story. The banished native became a very first wolfen, known as a hunter. But in her travels, Kia discovers the bracelet and becomes corrupt because of its power. She can feel no pain, she can only kill, and she cannot escape. The Curse of the Crimson Bracelet. Added by Abold Abdu. I guess that's the author? I'm confused. I'm not familiar with the names and where they come from. It seems Southeast Asia? I don't know. I don't know. Alright. Crimson Love. The child held his mother, who lay in a crimson pool. He loved her like no other, and then he felt like a fool. And now he felt like a fool. She provided him with everything: toys, clothing, food, and love. But he was spoiled. He wanted anything. But love, as a result, his mother now resides above. Above in the heavens. She would be happier there, he thought. He realized he was mistaken, to think that she loved him not. She did indeed love him. She said it herself. When she was at the rim of her life, and now he felt that no one to blame was him, that the one to blame was himself. He hadn't believed her, so when she died, he, the murderer, mourned for his mother and cried. So being angry, thinking no one loves you, and then killing the one person that was telling you they loved him. Because you're a spoiled little bastard. So I don't feel any remorse for this person. I feel remorse for the mother. Don't know who the author is. Sorry. Ooh. Ugh. The Crooked Man Game. Author's note. This is my proper first one. I'm not good at horror. I got a game called the CreepyPasta. Got a game called The Crooked Man. I've seen PewDiePie play it, so my playthrough isn't blind. I got to where I was supposed to find Sissy, but then I did find Sissy, but she just said ... Then there was a flash of red and the Crooked Man appeared out of nowhere. It killed my character. I just raged. The freaking game made me so mad. I played again and again, and I just kept dying. I got rid of the game and got a new one. I managed to get past the hotel, finally. But then I got where got to where D broke up with my character. Can we play for fun? I let him stab me. The horrible pictures of Crooked Man appeared. These never appeared before. I got seriously confused. Soon, my character was the Crooked Man. I just went insane, and then the screen went black. It just said bad end. Normally, bad ends would have a number next to them and the title of the end, but it was just blank. Just the outlines of bad end 2. I shut down the game. I was playing at 111, which meant to be what I was meant to be doing research on my exam. I just went to sleep. When I woke up, the Crooked Man was right on my body with his hands ready to strangle me. I managed to survive and ran away and got a knife. I stabbed him till he died. My sister was outside the door and said, "What are you doing? Practicing sword fighting?" She laughed at her own joke. Looks like I was the only one to see it. I said, "I just went insane." She scoffed and went away to play with her friends she invited. Don't tell anyone, but one of her friend's older sisters got a crush on. I never met the Crooked Man after that. Okay, so it comes from a ritual pasta that might be upcoming, but this pasta, I'm not good at horror. I feel like you still could have done better. I feel like you got more in for you. Um, this you should know more about, like, what the tropes are by now. I'm guessing this person is relatively new to some of this, as far as like creepypasta community. The Crooked Man is based on a ritual pasta where you can play a game or whatever, and then they made a video game based off it, and a lot of people played it. So, yeah, it's just The Crooked Man playthrough. Yesterday, I wanted to play the Crooked Man on my computer. Outside is a little bit stormy, like the tornado clouds, but whatever. Our apartment is safe, so I started playing the game. I watched walkthroughs a little bit before. At the first main character walking on the street, then a little girl comes out and the car hits her. Her head and body explodes. But the girl's still living? They carried to ambulance and I don't see her. Missing parts forgotten. Then at the end I saw the same living girl. I saw the same girl living. Then the TV at my room is out of signal. Clouds of the outside a bit circular. Then light in the kitchen goes out. It's not extraordinary because it often does. And when I try to fix the kitchen light, but I couldn't. Then I wake up. It was a dream. But I watched the whole playthrough from PewDiePie. My dream and the real game does not match. I was really confused. What does it mean? Turkish 55, I guess is the one. This is definitely one of those English is not your first language ones. I'm sorry. I got the gist, but I was still really confused. The Crooked Man. I saw him there, staring at me. A man with a smile on his face, with his head bent over, giving me a big smile. I saw that he was crooked, with a bump on his neck. He walked to me and whispered in my ear a nursery rhyme. It went like this. There was a crooked man, and he walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence upon a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat, which caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a little crooked house. Am I thinking the same thing? I thought I thought it was a ritual pasta. Was I wrong? I may have been wrong. Was it the Crooked Man? I don't remember. Or was it like a hook? Or was it the man with the hook? There's a ritual pasta that was a game. Or, well, there's a handful. I'm gonna have to go look back at this. I'm pretty sure the Game Grumps played the Crooked Man game. I've been watching a lot of their stuff lately. Alright. Crossover. Dreams are real. They always have been and they always will be. What we dream actually happens. Through sheer force of will and thought, the human mind reaches out and creates a world akin to ours, with all of our hopes and fears crammed in, dominated by our most recent experiences. Based on what we last saw, our dream can be the living embodiment of what we yearn the most, or our most abhorrent nightmares. It may be a safe haven or a hellish land of blight. Imagine yourself in front of a large sheet of cloth you can't cross, keeping you from that which you crave the most, and dreams sharp shards of glass reflecting with their multiple facets you and what you are, flying in towards the sheet of cloth. You may strike the sheet and make a portal for you to enter your nirvana and receive what you covet, but you will just as easily strike you, knocking you down and maiming you. Whatever happens, as you wake up, the dream and the alternate reality will be erased, slowly and painfully. You know that dream when everything starts to fall apart and you start seeing twilight around you. Everything else shrinking and being consumed in the tide of darkness as you run for your life, hoping not to get caught. That's you, as you made yourself in reality, witnessing what you have created being washed away and forgotten. You don't usually remember this part, though. It can be so frightening that the brain decides against storing it in the memories. So that's it. We dream and we create new worlds and then get erased without any consequences. The shards that pierce you or the sheet blocking your way are removed and everything is restored. Back to normal? Well, yes, they just get erased. Most of the time. You know, these recurring dreams, or the ones they are in most insane way connected, these are the dreams that aren't deleted. The shards remain, albeit the reformation. They stay there, and you sometimes feel them, experience them. They're usually harmless. Usually. Sometimes, in rare occasions, they find gaps in your consciousness, in your mind, in your thought, in your being, and they exploit these flaws, finding ways of getting out of that alternate reality and into our world, our reality, our universe. It's usually the most malevolent of creatures that find the loopholes, that try so hard to squeeze out, that succeed in breaking the minds of their creators. They get out and they do what they want, and they do what they were meant to do in their home world. They terrorize, they destroy, they kill, they disrupt. Okay. This is kind of like an Imagination Land type situation from South Park, is what it feels like. Like you've got all the good stuff, but all the bad stuff is still somewhere there. And that's the part you're really worried about. So, I don't know. This one's definitely a thought-provoking one. Sans structure could have been a little bit better. I was a little confused on what it was on how it was, when I was reading it. But I don't know what's with the font. I mean, it's in I don't know. It's weird. I mean, you get to choose your font, so it may have been on whatever platform they were on, or if they already had it set to something, and when they uploaded it, it just uploaded as this font. Or it probably came from Notepad. They had Notepad and then copied and pasted it to something else when they or copied it to the wiki. That'd be my guess. All right, so I'm gonna take a short break. Um, so thank you for watching. I'm gonna take a short break. Feel free to get up, move around, get something to drink, get something to eat, go to the bathroom, whatever. This is the intermission. I'll be back in about 10-20 minutes. All right, we're back. All right. Welcome to Tons of Fun. see what's going on the YouTubes. Oh, now you decide to show yourself. Let's see how it is. You'll be. Alright, he's still going. Got it. Alright. Okie dokie. I got tea now. Peppermint. Alright. Now we can continue. The Crow Project. Hello, viewer. I'm CL Stream, 12-year-old YouTube gamer. About a week ago, I was given a personal project by my school's science teacher. It's called the Crow Project, and I'm focused around studying various kinds of birds in the forest. I agreed to the assignment and brought the video camera to record my findings on magnificent birds. However, over the week that this was recorded, I was feeling strange and started thinking I wasn't alone. Every day there would be less birds than the day before. Eventually there were no birds at all. At the time I had had strange coughing fits and ringing in my ears. Sometimes I find some strange pages with weird messages. Most having a weird symbol of a circle with an X going through it. Here's a photo of one of the pages. Page with a circle and an X that says can't escape. I then commenced the review of the footage. From what I know, it looks like a stranger was in the shots sometimes. He appeared to be wearing a suit or something. If I find any other sightings, I'll post them on my YouTube channel. And then there's a YouTube user link. Okay. Alright, so first thing I notice as a content creator right now is 12-year-old YouTube gamer. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, except you have to be 13 now. That was long before. Now, of course, you can still lie about it, but it's just funny. It's just funny because we went through the whole thing with Susan Walensky doing the whole thing after she said 9-year-old viewer base or whatever. The FCC was like, oh, fuck. Alright, so I'm assuming this is meant to drag you into the depths of his channel, where you look through these videos. That'd be my guess, right? By all means, feel free. YouTube.com/user/CLStream. Stream. Which I assume is also the poster, so. This seems like a really good introduction to something. I would say that much. A story on its own, I wouldn't say. It's not very good as a story on its own, but definitely if you get to see the videos and see what was happening, that's interesting. So I would say this is pretty good in the regard of following up with other content. But if this is all there is, I would say no. The Crow. It was a regular day when I was walking home from school. I saw a crow sitting in a forest, eating some decomposing carcass of something. When I got home, I decided to watch some YouTube first. I was watching this video about a mass murderer named Jeff when I got a private message. It was someone named the Great One 666. The message read this and only this. In the woods. I kind of freaked out in the first place, and then I realized there's a lot of forest in the US, so it doesn't mean he meant the forest with the carcass in it, though, right? So it doesn't mean he meant the forest with the carcass in it, though, right? I decided to check later, but right now I had to finish my homework. I couldn't find a pencil, so I called my mom. Mom, I need a pencil. Which I got no response. I checked around the entire house and backyard. Only place left was the woods. So I went to them, and then this time I saw a note next to the carcass. Help, it read. I went further into the woods. It was the last thing I heard from 15-year-old Dom. This was the last thing heard from 15-year-old Dominique McLynch. The last seen of him was by the crow that was eating his carcass. It's kind of neat when they make like some kind of loop, indication loop. That's like, oh, if you had avoided this, you wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. As far as the Jeff thing, yeah. Mesmer named Jeff. Is it Jeff the Killer? You know, if I had to make a creepypasta, I would be avoiding the hell out of it unless I was making a versus type thing. Or like a character, basically a Mary Sue that would be trying to fight these people and be their nightmare. But I feel like that would break how the characters work. Alright. Crowded street. When I stepped out of the tube station, it was raining heavily outside. So I opened my umbrella and started walking, but something was wrong. The atmosphere was somehow very unpleasant. Strange. Every single person I walked past didn't have an umbrella over them. Everyone was silent and looking grim. And they walked on, all facing the same direction. Then suddenly a taxi stopped by, and the driver put out his hand and beckoned me to come over. I gestured to him that I didn't need a taxi, but the taxi driver said, "Come on, get in." He was so insistent that I had to give in. Besides, I wanted to get away from this unpleasant atmosphere. Later, the driver, pale-faced, said to me, "When I saw you trying to avoid bumping into people on an empty street, I thought I should help you." Ooh. Ooh, that's clever. I like that one. That's actually a good pasta, I think. Um, that last line definitely puts it all together. And I like the idea of someone kind of taking them away from a situation like that. And I'm assuming by the person who added the picture, Retardo the Magnificent. Nice name job. Am I gonna get canceled for that in the future? I didn't make that name up. I'm sorry. Oh no.
You'll be fine, bro.
Retardo the Magnificent. No, but I like this pasta. When I saw you were trying to avoid bumping into people on an empty street, I thought I should help you. So was it a psychosis? Was it him seeing a bunch of spirits?
Hard to say for sure.
Ah, it's interesting. Hey. No. This is not the thing you're supposed to scratch it. Farah? Not the floor. There's a thing there. There's a thing there. There's a thing over there. And you scratch the chairs all the time. Of all things, you have plenty of shit to scratch besides that. Apparently. Alright. Cruel trainers. I want to tell you a story. A story about a Vaporeon that was killed. It was a winter day. A battle was going on. It was a battle between Flareon and the Vaporeon. They both had trainers, you see. It looked like the Vaporeon should have won because of its type, but it lost. The trainer left and took it far into the forest, so no one could follow. The trainer screeched at her for failing the battle and kicked it once. Hard. The Vaporeon whimpers. Then suddenly the trainer started to beat her so badly that Vaporeon was bleeding. The trainer said, "You easily could have won that battle." The next day, the trainer challenged the boy with a Flareon again. and once again the Flareon beat him. The trainer got upset again, and took his Vaporeon into the nearby graveyard. The Vaporeon followed, not knowing, I think it's supposed to say not knowing what would happen until it was far too late. The trainer wrapped the rope around its neck, pulling, making the Vaporeon choke and gasp. He kept pulling and pulling until its neck snapped, and the choking stopped. The trainer walked away as if nothing happened. Some time later, it was found, covered in dirt and blood, with the rope still wrapped tight. It was taken to the Pokemon Tower. As for the trainer, one late night a ghost appeared, one that felt familiar. The ghost attacked him. He sent his Charizard to defend him. He had a sickening feeling that he needed to win. The fight was long and hard, cruel and wicked. His room ended covered in ashes and soaked. Anything once usable burnt. He was found dead the next morning, not from fires, not from shock. No one is sure of why, but his Charizard has been very afraid of Vaporeon. Rest in peace, Vaporeon. You should have ran. It's sad. Yeah, don't be a dick. Like, they're not just objects, they're not just weapons, they're beings. Like, don't be cruel to any animals.
Or Pokemon.
Pokemon are animals. And there are babies. Cruel. There isn't much hope. I'm destined to die, even by means of torture. This is no ordinary torture, though. He mocks me. It mocks me. There is no reason to live. The love before my eyes is taken away from my grasp. Though I try to regain, I cannot. I refrain from trying to beat through this. There is no hope, no amount of any thought other than the end of my road. It still stalks me in my dreams, destroying what I have left of my self-sanity. But there's not just one, there are more. And they keep me awake. They never let me wake up until it's finished. They make me sit through it all and watch. I can still hear the screams and the agony of all my loved ones. Friends, family, and alike are shown before myself. All I can do is watch each and every one of them over and over again. I know it's a dream. But most of the time I can't wake up. I can't move. There is absolutely no freedom. I am limited only to thought, and still it happens over and over again. I can't explain what it is they want from me. I am unknowing of this. Why they continue to put me before this torture, I don't know. The same ones over and over again. My last dream was different, though. One of them came up to the chair I'm confined to. It said I was free to go. I didn't want to go, but I did. As I arose, a table came into view. On the table, tools of various torture methods were spread out. A blood-stained door appeared, and I saw 3 people. It seemed so real, almost as if I was really did as I had done. As if I really did what I had done. The effects were drastic. My expression blank as I tried to comprehend what I wanted. Then it spoke, and this word I will never forget. Choose. I chose, and I regret my decision. Between my 2 best friends and my lover, I chose none. My guilt is overwhelming. I did not cannot and will not forgive myself for this decision. I watched them as their eyes closed one by one. My mourning has still not ended, nor will it. All of them died that night, my friends, my lover alike, all in fire. I'm not sure what started it, though. Not sure what started it, though, and not even the local authorities can explain what happened. I will commit suicide today. There is no doubt about that. It has been inevitable. But before I go, I will say one thing. This cruel demise of mine, it has all been about the guilt I carry. I have finally collapsed. This letter was found in an abandoned, burned home. It was hidden neatly in the metal box underneath floorboards of the master bedroom. All that seems to be left are buried, are burned, crudely drawn sketches of white masks and empty bottles of scotch. More writing was found, but made little sense. The rest was non-legible. That's the sound of a descent into madness. Ooh, another recipe. Crunchy monster claws. Ingredients: 1 small sweet yellow pepper and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 2 teaspoons plus 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Divided. 3 eggs lightly beaten. 1 to 1.5 cups of cornflake crumbs. 2 tablespoons chopped green onions. 1 pound boneless, skinless chicken breast cut lengthwise. Barbecue sauce. Ooh, this seems good. Directions: cut yellow pepper into 15 triangles. Set aside in a large resealable plastic bag. Combine flour and 2 teaspoons Cajun seasoning. Place eggs in a shallow bowl. In another shallow bowl, combine the cornflake crumbs, green onions, and the remaining Cajun seasoning. Place a few pieces of chicken in the bag. Seal and shake to coat it. Dip in eggs, then the crumb mixture, and place on the greased baking sheet. Repeat. Bake at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes or until juices run clear. Cut a small slit into the end of each chicken strip. Insert a pepper triangle into each. Serve with barbecue sauce. Yields about 15 appetizers. Yeah, that seems pretty good, actually. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I wouldn't mind trying that. What do you think? Would you like crunchy monster claws?
Crunchy?
Yeah, crunchy monster claws. This one's a recipe.
I wouldn't mind trying something like that.
Yeah, it uses some sweet yellow peppers, chicken. Yeah, you got some green onion. You basically do a thing where you batter it and bread it, and then you cook it.
Okay.
It looks pretty good. You serve with barbecue sauce. Says it yields about 15 appetizers. You cut a slit into the chicken, and then you insert a pepper triangle into each of the pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
So it comes out like a claw. It's kind of neat. It would probably take about half an hour to make in all. All right. Wait, was there someone who added by Avenging Angel? I guess. All right. Crybaby. You know when you have this bad feeling, you can just tell something is wrong, but you can't put your finger on what it is. Well, me and my wife got this all the time in our apartment. We live next to these people who had a baby, but it died. Somebody tried to steal from their apartment, and their father tried to get the gun away from the thief, but the gun went off and killed their baby. It was a horrifying story. The thief was never arrested or identified. It's been a few weeks since this horrible events, and we have been noticing something strange happening. Our neighbors have been crying over the loss of their baby, and sometimes we can hear a younger sound. The sound of crying from something that seems young to be either one of them. It's high pitch and we can hear it clearly through our walls. We decided to ask them what was going on. They said that they haven't been crying and they've gotten over the fact that their child is dead. I was kind of suspicious that they blocked the door so I couldn't see in. So what I did is I asked my friend who can see directly into their apartments if I could stay the night, and I took my binoculars so I could see if they were telling the truth or not. I wish I hadn't. When I got there, I rang my wife and asked if they had started crying yet. But the strangest thing is that they weren't. They were laughing. I opened the blinds ever so slightly so I could get my binoculars through without seeing anyone. Without anyone seeing. They were in leather and chains, looking like bondage. I thought that tonight they were having rough sex, but instead, they opened their wardrobe to reveal a knife covered in blood. I was getting weirded out and was worried about what they were going to do. They turned the light on and in the next room to reveal some chains hanging from the ceiling. The man went into another room and came back with a small baby. It couldn't have been any older than 4 months. I asked my friend to look through the binoculars. He could see the exact same thing, so I wasn't imagining things. The woman slowly walked around the man in a sexual manner, stroking him as if to say thanks. They both started crying as they put the baby in the chains. The woman slapped the baby, and that's what the high-pitched crying was. The man took a knife from the woman and slowly started to carve through the child's feet. It was nearly crying by now. Then the woman took out a piece of flat-nosed pliers from her boot. She got the child's nose in the pliers and hung back, slowly tearing the skin off of the child and its nose. Poor thing. The man then went to the cupboard to reveal the small fridge. He then opened it to reveal the corpses of the last 4 infants, no older than 6 months of age. One of them fell out of the fridge, and it had no skin and had a cross carved into its skull. That's when I got my friend to call the police. Horrified, I kept watching. The woman told the man something, to which he looked out of the window, looking out with a pair of military binoculars. He saw me. By, I guess, Red Skull 44. Okay. So I don't like it, but I would say that it's well written. I think it's very sadistic, appropriately sadistic, I guess. It's definitely one of the things that, like, if you heard things, you're like, oh, shit. Kind of wondering if you should just let this one go and get the fuck out of Dodge. That looks like a terrible edit. I guess it makes the point, though. Cry. You told your parents good night, and that you were going upstairs to study, and you were, for about 5 minutes. Your nap was only supposed to last as long as, well, your nap was only supposed to last that long as well, but your eyes open and drearily drift towards your clock. Sorry. 10:25. Your parents have already gone to bed, as made apparent by the snoring coming from behind their slightly cracked door. Hunger grips you. And raiding the fridge becomes your top priority. With your LED keychain flashlight, you embark on a stealthy food run. Luckily, your dad finished carpeting the stairs, so you make little sound as you creep to the bottom. But something else isn't so quiet. From the kitchen, it seems you hear a clumsy clop, and the sound of a high heel, but it seems so much lighter, as if not a full person's body weight had been applied on to the step. Your mom definitely doesn't wear high heels at any time other than formal events, making your quiet mission to the kitchen at the bottom of the pitch black stairs daunting beyond reason. But you write it off as post-nap fatigue and soldier on. However, it cannot be helped that your brain is otherwise perfectly barred from answers. At the bottom of the stairs, your LED casts eerie shadows and plays off the reflective surfaces as you near the kitchen. You hear a knock, like the one you might hear after accidentally banging your knee on the side of a cabinet. Obviously, this gets to you, but you stop short of the doorway and peek through. Whatever it is, it's on its hands and knees, wearing your mother's high heels on its hands. Long, matted hair hangs greasily from its head, and it seems to just be shuffling around aimlessly. Yes, it is human, but you still feel your heart drop into your intestines when this thing starts to sob loudly. The type of sobbing one experiences when they hear the loss of the immediate family. A hoarse sob with desperate gasping inhalations between each weeping moan. Practically bawling, it turns its head. Or more accurately, your mother turns her head and gazes upon you. Hmm. What? Huh? I'm confused. I am missing something. How is your dad not hearing any of this? What the hell? I don't even know what this. What is. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. It's kind of like I want to know the rest of what's going on. I'm what? Mm. All right. Crying from the crying from the perch tree. This is my first creepypasta. Some parts were inspired by Jason's home, not all. And please don't judge. I hope you like it. There used to be a perch tree outside my house. I think it's still there. But my dad chopped it down years ago. Or did he? When I woke up in cold winter mornings, I hear a soft hymn of the perch doves that used to live on the perch. Peach doves that used to live on the perch. The perch was beautiful and had pretty much grown, and I had pretty much grown from it. I don't remember having a life that before the perch tree had been planted and had grown. Maybe I didn't have a life before the perch tree. My grandma raised me near the perch tree. My grandpa died under the perch tree. I miss him. I miss the perch tree. Grandpa was no good anyway. He didn't work for the family. It's better that he had no good old man died. It's better that no it's better that no good old man died. I'm still feeding off his grainy corpse. What a horse. My papa should die too. He cut down the perch tree. Where's my axe? Oh, that's right. I left it in Grandma's head. She's still hanging from her intestines from the branch on the perch tree where she used to feed me meals. Oh well. She always looked too long. She always took too long in the bathroom anyway. Papa! I screamed, a smirk across my face. Papa runs up the stairs and opens the door. What's wrong, sweetie? Papa asks. Why'd you cut down the perch tree, Papa? I asked. Papa looked at me. Because, dear girl, it was bad. It was bad luck. But Papa, my hands were red now. You're not supposed to hurt things important to others, right, Papa? My hysterical laughter was loud. Papa's folded body didn't answer me. I'll find out why later. I guess that was young daughter killed the whole family. Where's the mother in this? Alright. Cube theory. Was there a picture? Yeah, that was alright. For what it's worth. I judged, and I judged well, I guess. Cube theory. I've always wondered if there was something dark about Minecraft. I mean, you're alone in a strange world that seems to be infinite. Theory numero uno. Minecraft sounds very similar to Mindcraft. It could be the creation of your mind. So, could it be the creation of your mind? It always seems to find something that can only come from imagination, such as a single tree on a small island made of dirt, or maybe a completely hollow mountain that had a labyrinth underneath. Theory. Minecraft is a world created by your character to combat loneliness in a dark void. Theory number 2. Minecraft is a test to see how strong you are. If you die, the test is over and the next clone comes in and is given all of your things. It is just a test that goes on forever. If you made it out, you would discover a hellish world full of demons. You will want to return to the test world and stay there forever. Theory: Minecraft is a survival test. I mean, yeah, kinda. I mean, that's kind of survival. Of course, this is also 2012. So if it was 2011 Minecraft, like, there wasn't much you could do, so you were completely alone, you didn't have villagers, all you had were monsters. So you didn't have the end at the time. And I'm not even sure if you had, I don't think you had the nether. So, the hellish part, Wouldn't this person like to know? I'm guessing this is by Souls Fury 56. Yeah. Alright. The Cult. Back in the late 1800s, there was a boy named Joseph Encia. Ever since Joseph was little, he was interested in zoos. Zoo animals seemed like the best animals to him. He would be at the zoo every chance he would get, for years and years. One day, when Joe was about 12 years old, he took up his daily trip to the zoo. The day was quite breezy, and instead of taking up the offer of flying kites with his friends, he went to his sanctuary. Almost every time he went to the zoo, it was packed with people of all ages, sizes, and colors, but today, absolutely no one was there. Joe thought this was strange, but he walked in, ready to see the animal companions. But to his disturbed dismay, he walked in and all the animals were gone, and in their place were several piles of flaming organs. Joe started to get really scared, so he turned around to run home, but as he turned around, he saw that he was being followed by a man in a black robe. Joe had noticed the man's hands were covered in blood. The man seemed to be murmuring something evil sounding. Joe spun right back around and ran into the zookeeper's office. Inside the office were piles of skinned human bodies. All of them looked like they had some kind of mysterious occult carvings on their bodies. The stench consumed the room, and Joe passed out. When Joe awoke, he was lying on his back with some kind of stone tablet. When he tried to get up, he was restrained by rope. When he screamed for help, he saw the man and some others like him. Joe asked who they were, and they pulled down their hoods. Instead of seeing human faces like he expected, alien-like faces stared back at him. The alien, which seemed to be the leader, began speaking English, and had to say one thing. Your disgusting animals have awoken us. Now we're hungry. Not the Aryans. It's motherfucking aliens. Fuck, I saw it. Fuck. Okay. Alright, we're doing this. The cupboard. I was moving into a new house. The place was beautiful. It was packed with all of my boxes. It had 6 rooms, 1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a laundry, and an empty room. The room only had an old, abandoned-looking cupboard. I just finished putting my bed out in my bedroom, so I had a rest, not worrying much about the cupboard. I woke up at 1:24 a.m. with a bang. I sat up in my bed quickly, checking if anything was in my room. Nothing but boxes and the bed I was sleeping in. The bang came again, now sounding muffled like something fell. It sounded like something was coming from the empty room. I decided to get up and check it out. I got out of bed in my pajamas and started walking down slowly to the empty room. Once I got inside the room, the door behind me closed itself, loudly. I was so scared at the moment, I decided to keep going, since the doorknob wouldn't turn as much as I tried. The floorboards were squeaking, which made it even scarier than before. Once I finally reached the cupboard, I put my hands on the handle, and with my heart racing, I quietly turned it. Then the skeleton popped out! Yeah, okay, sure. Thanks, Hello Thrax. Hello Tharx, Thar XX, whatever, Hello Thar XX, I don't know. Yeah. So much cringe. So much cringe. Jesus. Yeah, man. Didn't have to be that. Whatever. Alright. The Curse of Smile Dog. The man turned on his computer and opened a search engine. He typed in the words Smile Dog and hit enter. Smile Dog was something his friend Pete told him about the previous day. Supposedly it was some picture of a dog that could deactivate your brain or something. He didn't remember. But looking at it now, he thought it was nothing more than a cute little dog with a toothy grin. He found it adorable. After all, he had a husky, and he found everything about him adorable. He smiled and smiled. His dog came into the room and sat by his leg, looking up at him with those big, husky eyes. It suddenly seemed as if the dog was smiling at him. He heard the front door open, and his mom called for him to help bring in some shopping bags. He closed the window and went out to the car. His dog kept smiling and smiling. His mom came into the house to pet the dog. The dog had all of a sudden stopped smiling and started to back away. He found this to be a curious behavior, but thought nothing of it. A few hours after he went to bed, he woke up to find his husky friend lying on top of him and smiling at him. He dismissed it and went back to sleep. When he awoke once again in the morning, he found the dog still lying on him, still smiling. The dog stayed there until his owner moved. And only then did she move off the bed. She kept smiling. At breakfast, he found himself rather disorientated. He felt a headache coming on. At lunch, he felt very sick and went to the nurse. At dinner, his body suddenly started convulsing, and he fell on the floor. He was having a seizure. His dog smiled at him and patted away. Yeah, that's that's a thing. Can't wait till we actually get to the actual uh standard, the core creepypastas that really helped it blow up for a lot of people. Well, looks like we're getting to the D's. D's nuts. All right. Cursed. So let me start at the beginning. I live in a fairly new house, in a fairly new subdivision. There's no Indian burial ground underneath us, no creepy backstory, nothing. We got our house pretty cheap, but for the reason that we lived in the smallest town ever, and they practically have to pay people to live here. But all that aside, there's just a tiny, tiny catch to our house. It was built twice. The first family who lived here consisted, from what the landlord tells me, of a married couple who had with two young children. Unfortunately, there was a terrible fire, and the residents perished a long time ago with the house. Supposedly, the young girl was playing with candles and accidentally set the fire. Now, there are no clear-cut records of the married couple's death, so they might have survived the fire, but I know for a fact the siblings died. My parents are separated, and when my mother first moved into the house, it was without me. I was in another state with my pops. When she told me about weird stuff happening, I was skeptical. Well, as skeptical as a 9-year-old can be when it comes to paranoia. As they say, every child every child is born with a fear of the dark. The first story Mom told me was about my little half sister, Sophie. Sophie had always creeped me out to an extent. She just did weird things. She would smile and wave at vacant walls and corners. She would get up in the middle of the nights and just laugh and play with shadows. Mom says has an imagination like small children do. So I shrugged it off. Then one night, Mom told me something really freaky. She said she was getting ready for bed. Sophie was in her room asleep, and she had locked the doors. She was dozing off, and when she heard a loud and low scream, or more like a yell, through the baby monitor, and Sophie started crying. After rushing downstairs and calming her, Mom checked the house. All the windows, the doors, even the monitor. Nothing was awry. There was no one there. Strange things continued to happen the longer they lived there. One night, all the cupboards in the house flew open at once, scaring the hell out of my stepfather. So yeah, this was pretty common thing as far as like hauntings go. So I guess the idea is that the children are haunting. I don't know. That's not bad. It's pretty good. Oh god. Why'd you have to use that picture? Customer and the cashier. You ever noticed how the world You ever notice how in the world emotions are usually split into two or more variants concerning each? You're probably confused, so let me explain. For example, take happiness. There are two types of that. There are two types of that. The optimistic happy, where the individual could just frolic around without a care in the world, while a fucking shootout goes on besides them. See borderline insanity. Or be calm happy. The cool cat who wears a leather trench coat wearing a pair of thick trimmed sunglasses and would send a chick's panties in a bunch just by flicking his hair at her. Pompous bastard. And then there's anger. I had an old friend who went by the name of Benny. He worked as a cashier for Walmart for a decade and a half. It doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like a tough job, but trust me, it is. From the second Benny started working there, his life went to hell in a handbasket. From that very second he stepped into that godforsaken hellhole they call Walmart. What with its horrible clothing sales and preppy kids product vomit. His silent rage he had been holding in for so long increased and increased. May of 2009 was when he finally snapped. I was there, and I witnessed all of it. As soon as that one customer made a stupid, friggin' snide remark about some Hasbro toy being too expensive, Benny lost it. Benny's head inflated, turned redder than a beet in the blazing summer sun, and the next thing you know, there was just red sticky stuff all over the place. And Benny's headless body just writhing around on the floor like a grotesque human fish. Almost the scariest thing I've ever seen. Because, just like happiness or sadness, or any other emotion really, there are two types of anger in this world. Explosive, which is the most common, is the type of individual you see screaming at a butler for not doing the dishes. Implosive, which is Barry's type, is the cashier at the store who remains quiet at his job day after day until he finally loses it and just shoots everyone in the store. You're the cashier. By Cheese Lord. Okay. So full disclosure, I've worked at Walmart before. I've had a total of like 5.5 years with Walmart. And it's no picnic. I mean, it's not bad to have constant work. Demands get high and shitty, and there's shitty customers. And my God, I was lucky. I was super fucking lucky. Like, I didn't have like bad customers or anything. Like, I didn't have anyone who was being a shithead to me or anything like that for the most part. Most of my problem was coworkers, but damn if I didn't feel for the cashiers and the people who had to deal with a lot more customers than I did. Because, like, yeah, there was just a lot of shitty people who sit there and look down on Walmart workers for working there. It's like, well, my God, if you look down on Walmart workers so much, why the fuck do you shop there? You can fuck off and go somewhere else. My God, go to Publix in the other direction or whatever. Stay the fuck away from me. So yeah, fucking yeah. Some people at Walmart get a really shit deal. Like it sucks. And like I said, my experience wasn't that bad, but there have been really bad experiences.
Bless you.
Oh, all right. The Cyber Cafe. Found this on a Tumblr blog that I've forgotten the name of. In Chinatown, there's a cyber cafe in the same building as the Kingfisher. It's small and cheap and old. The walls are still decorated with Diablo 2 and Quake boxes. The computers are a bit behind too. But it's not really what the patrons go there for. Go in, buy some time, and load up Heart of Heart of Wit. It's an agent MMO. The kind with graphics that look like Gaia Online. Make a free account and wander the city of Wit. The city of Wit will be inhabited by a half dozen players, all of whom will be taking in what looks like Asian script from some kind, but is actually hyper stylized English. After your eyes adjust, you realize that the player character names are just names of people you know in your everyday life. Most will ignore you, but occasionally they'll give you quests and challenge you to a duel. These quests are simple. Kill 5 dragon hatchlings and we'll give you a gold ingot. That kind of thing. Whatever you do, never accept a challenge to duel and always do the quests. Names aren't the only thing that crosses over between the game and reality. Yeah, that's where I thought it was going. Yeah. Yeah, when I saw the part where you can duel other players, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the problem. All right, we're officially out of the D's, or out of the C's. We are now beginning the D's. D's nuts. And it's got a good chunk. We're getting pretty far. All right. DB sacrifice. I had made the last adjustment to this hunk of junk in relief. I lay back beside it, watching everyone else. I saw the man in red himself. I was so nervous to talk, so I just waved and he looked up and smiled. I saw the announcer coming down. It had been a long time. It had been a long time since I gotten any action. None of the competitors came seemed to like me since I got bumped everywhere, but did not lose badly. I had most silver in my collection, but I hoped to get at least a gold one. But it was hard since the goal of every one is to one. The goal of every one, it took time to fix repairs. I fell asleep and started having problems. I saw the red man being torn apart and then smashed, and it woke me up and shook it off, but keep on thinking what I would do without him he made since he made my cold life a little better. Damn, this is hard to read. It was it was weak. It was a week since I had gotten any action, so I was kind of glad. I still had bloody vision and decided to get some air like normal. Looking around, I mostly saw the green wander all over the poster and stuff. He had been best racer for a long time. I kind of figured since his brother better than him in most stuff, at least he made a dent in his record. He had a blue flash and fell off the floor, vision blurred, and closed my eyes and woke up on the bed. On the bed, not much work was done by me since my special. Since my specie was still new to the one doctor. Species? I don't know. We had in this land. He told me I am probably stressed from no work. I had thought maybe since I really wanted to see the red man, I left I left the office, and to my surprise, the red man was there, smiling. He said, "You're you're a close friend, even though we have had difference in the past." I just wanted to cry. It made me happy. I had no friends for millions of years. the day had arrived that I was going to try to win this time. Everything started like normal. Began normal, being hit, object flying over where I was being behind the red man, and he was winning. I did not mind losing to him. I had a boost, but did not use it. My eyes widened as I looked behind me and saw a blue flash. I used the boost, knocking the red man in the grass, and when it hit me, the impact was brutal, and my parts back shader parts flew everywhere in my last bit of life. And I said to the red man, "Thank you, Mario, for being my best friend." As Mario walked to the gravestone, he said, "I will miss you, my friend." My friend, resting a gold medal on the ground. I Dry Bones. Is it Dry Bones? Dry Bones Sacrifice? Oh my god, this was really fucking hard. So confused. At least at the end, this is, a Mario Kart thing. But damn, holy fuck. I am so confused. This one was a hard one to read. This was definitely one of those not my English is not my first language things, because there's a whole bunch of run-on sentences and a lot of it just didn't make any sense, and I'm sorry. I don't understand. Daddy's bird. On Mother's Day, go to a peaceful meadow. Bring a mockingbird. It will be important later. Next, you must spill your blood on the nearest rose, then start crying. You will feel the urge to stop crying, but for this to work, you need to bawl your eyes out. After half an hour, it will darken. No matter what time it is, you will see this house that's rotting away. You must run to it, not walk, run. If you get there in time, the door will slam behind you. Do not try to escape. Find the hallway and go down it. While you go down it, the lights will dim and the hallway will have stone bricks and no doors. After the hallway goes almost completely dark, release the mockingbird. You will be paralyzed, and you will hear this song. And do not say anything. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird won't sing, down goes its throat a diamond ring. And if I seem so crass, I'm gonna kick mommy's little ass. And if her bones are broke, I'm going to throw you in the moat. And if everything is null, Daddy is going to be full. And if you drown, you'll be the quietest baby in town. I fucked that up. After this, you can move. And the house will be gone, and you'll be in the meadow, like nothing happened. After the incident, your family and friends will be dead. And anybody you loved will be dead. Were you expecting something good to happen? This was by Cheese Lord. Once again, he does a lot. Yeah, that's an interesting one. This was a little messy. Hushful baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Mockingbird won't sing. Down goes its throat, a diamond ring. If I seem so crass, I'm going to kick mommy's little ass. If your bones are broke, I'm going to throw you in a moat. If everything is null, Daddy is going to be full. And if drown, you'll be the quietest baby in town. That was a weird read on that lyrically. Anyway, that's a neat one. And nursery rhyme ones are always interesting, aren't they? I mean, the nursery rhymes themselves already have a lot of what the fuckery, so take that for what you will. Deambulator. The Third World War has already begun. Although, unlike the wars of the past, this war is fought in the shadows. In an era where everything is connected, it's odd how easy it is to conceal the truth. Now, I realize that even when the truth gets out, no one will believe it. Hell, if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't. I've been there when it happened, I wouldn't have believed it either. Like many of you who will try and read this, I've read quite a few creepypastas. Ooh. And I've even tried a few of the rituals, but surprisingly none of them worked. I was searching for a new pasta that I hadn't read yet when I came across what happened to be the chat room that all revolved around a man simply named Deambulator. Although most of the posts were old and about how the group named the Holy Seven had been chosen to imprison the monster that had ownership of him shifted every 100 years. Why is that in different text? I continued reading and found out that the Holy Seven had one base to each continent. One base on each continent. This created a problem, however, because the monster escaped when it possessed a weaker member of the Antarctica Division earlier this year. After I read the post, I noticed there were no new stories from this beast. Oh, fuck. In fact, the last post was written in March. After a few more minutes of rereading, I received an IM on the side from the individual named the Gatekeeper. He told me that I must protect humanity now. I asked him what he meant, and he told me to come outside so I could inherit the power of a keeper. At this point, I looked out my window and saw nothing. I laughed at myself and typed back that I didn't see him. He told me that I was looking out the wrong window, and that's when I noticed the reddish light glowing from outside my kitchen window. When I looked out the window, I noticed there was a group of people in front of what appeared to be a burning church. As I stared out the window, in both astonishment and fear, a hand came down on my shoulder and instantly pushed me out of my physical body. As I turned back in terror, I saw my body on the floor and a baby-faced man with pure black eyes staring at me and I realized that he was a fellow gatekeeper. But none of that matters now. We failed our job at protecting the Hellgate from Deambulator. And now he has freed his brethren and doomed Earth. This may be the Third World War. But this one will not be fought using the force of soldiers. Mortals are far too prepared for fighting simple wars like that. Instead, this war will be fought by a few possessed men who fire off rockets for an apocalypse with just a few strokes of a keyboard. Ooh. Yeah, it's always interesting when you really kind of dial it back and realize, wow, if one person shoots all their nukes, we're all dead. The whole world is gone. Like, why would we ever want to stay in that kind of power struggle? Dance, dance, falling apart through halftime. Dance, dance. Anyway, dance, dance. Right? Wait, this is the exact same story. Um, yeah, I don't see any difference, so I guess I'll delete the older one. All right. Dance, dance. There was a girl who had an illness and was bedridden for the majority of her life. She was recently diagnosed to die within the next couple of months, so her parents decided to spend as much time with her as they could before her time came. They decided that the best thing was to go camping at a local site for a little bit, since the daughter was stuck in the hospital for so long. On their way there, the girl was quiet as usual and laid back, and in the back, and laid in the back while the parents talked amongst themselves. When they finally reached their destination, they pitched the tent, unpacked everything, and started a campfire. The mother was constantly filming the area and her daughter while the father went out for more firewood. It was getting dark, and when he came back, he suddenly heard the mother scream, and rushed over to discover that his daughter was standing on her feet and was doing a wild, erratic dance before she suddenly dropped dead. After all the funeral processions and grieving subsided, the parents wanted to see the video the mother recorded that night. They put the tape in the player. They put the tape in the player and began to watch. At first it just showed the mother looking at the scenery, just random animals that passed by in the distance. But as the time frame skipped, it jumped to when she was inside the tent with the daughter, and she stood up and began to jerk around. But there was something wrong. It first was in the corner of their eyes. As they replayed the scene, their horror became more and more real. The entire time the daughter was dancing, there was a ghastly white hand latched on top of her head. Oh. She was long since dead. She had been dead for a while. Well then, ah, huh. Okay, that is a thing. Sure. All right. Dancing down in the Indian hallway in darkness. My cousin recently moved here from the Secunderabad, India. Some Secunderabad. Secunderabad. Okay. On a recent road trip exploring America. Fuck. We were shooting shit and exchanging ghost stories and laughing at similarities and differences between American ghosts and Indian ghost stories. When I asked her if she's ever experienced anything supernatural, Her eyes widened as she averted her eyes to the window. Just as the silence was about to be too much for me, she softly responded, "Yes, a few. One is troubling. When I was a second year in college, I stayed at an all girl hostel dorm. I made many friends. We we were all very happy to be in school away from our conservative parents. The hostel was so much fun, but it was a very old building. Electricity was only put in the rooms. Sometimes candles were placed along the windows if a watchman was present. But normally, once you left the rooms, you were faced with complete darkness. It's common to wake up. It's common to wake up someone if you needed to walk down to the restroom at the end of the hall. We all had a childish fear of being alone in the dark. One night I had to use the restroom. It was about 4 a.m. I went to my friend's bed and tapped her on the arm. She immediately opened her eyes as soon as I touched her. I apologized for bothering her and told her I needed to pee. She smiled at me and hopped out of bed. All the way down the hallway, she laughed and danced. I could not see her at all, but her bangles clanged together loudly so the bells of her ankles jingled softly. It was very calming. I laughed and sashayed my hips down the hallway with her, too tired to match elaborate arm movements. She said nothing to me, though occasionally I heard her hum one of our favorite Bollywood songs. The same thing happened on our return. I fell back asleep easily. I awoke fairly late the next morning to the sound of men in our room. They surrounded her bed and bolted from my I bolted from my bed, prepared to protect my friend when I realized they were administrators of the college. I peered over closer. My friend's lifeless eyes were fixated on my bed. The same smile on her face. Suicide. Her time of death was 11:30 p.m., almost 5 hours before I woke her. Ooh. Yeah, that's freaky. That would be really freaky. Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to go with that one. It's like, how did that even happen? Was it all a dream? Or a simulation? I don't know. Alright. The Dancing Wooden Man. A few years back, I had a strange dream. The most realistic dream of my life. In it, I remember a shadowy form with no real shape was approaching someone who I could only tell was very important to me. Just before it took them, I yelled I yelled at it to stop and take me instead. It turned back and wrapped around me, and I heard words without a voice say, "When you see my messenger next, I will come for you." After that, I remember waking up. I sat up in my bed and I looked out the window. Past the car in our backyard and along the tree line, I saw a block shape, almost like a human, but it appeared to be made out of logs and wearing a cone-shaped hat of wood. I shuffled in a strange motion, almost like some sort of ritualistic dance, its staying rigid, supporting the thought that it was made of wood. This may not sound very intimidating, but I was filled to the brim with sheer terror at the sight. Just before I could make a just before I could make any noise, I bolted up. That had been a dream too. It could have been just it could have just been a nightmare, but there was something about it. Even now, it seems so much more than that. I don't know if anyone has heard of anything similar, or if the shadow will indeed take me the next time I see the dancing wooden man. but I just wanted to get this out somewhere in case something actually does happen. Who did this one? Someone go check on this guy. Make sure he's all right. That's a good one. This is a nice one. Definitely one I could throw to the to people. The Dangerous Grave. Dear Erica, don't laugh. This isn't funny. I know you've heard this story from our friends, but you should hear my side of the story. As you know, we were up here investigating a medieval cemetery when we came across a wooden coffin. It took most of us it took us most of the day to raise it to the side of the trench. We lowered it to the side of the trench. We lowered it to the ground, but the ropes slipped and it had a bumpy landing. That's when we heard a hissing sound coming from the coffin. The professor said, "Run," and we turned our backs and scattered for cover. I guess I was about 32.8084 feet away from the coffin when it exploded. Something felt soft smacked into the back of my jacket. The blast blew me forward to my hands and knees, but I wasn't hurt. You'll be pleased to hear. I stood off and took off my jacket to see what hit me. I stared at the jacket. A medieval, soft, squishy, bloody eyeball was blown from the corpse and hit me. For some reason, my friends thought it was funny. Anyway, now that you've heard my side, it might not be that funny anymore. See you soon. Love, Annie. From England. Huh. Interesting. I need more about the world to know quite what's going on. Why were they investigating? What was the coffin for? Well, what was the whole thing about that? I am not invested in these characters right now. Alright. I am feeling tired as shit. I'm yawning ever so more frequently. So, Dangerous Grave was the last one we did. Oh, fuck. Okay. Cool. Alright, so I think we did a pretty good chunk. Let's see, how many did we actually do? Alright, so we stopped at creation, so that's 50 items. Alright, that's fair. So we'll add that to our total right here. So 436 items. Hell yeah. Not before too long, we'll be less than 8,000. Oh, nice. So, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm tired. I'm ready to get all loopy. It's hard to read. Might be my fault. I don't know. So, thank you for watching, even though no one was watching. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you want to be my buddy. You can check out my social links down below for Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, and all that jazz. Any little bit of help will be appreciated. And always remember, you have potential. Bye.